For those who don't know, I went to college, and this was a result of all my time and effort.
I've got a degree in homeopathic medicine!
You've got a degree in baloney.
One thing I did learn from my time, though, was that one aspect of game design that I appreciated more than any is level design. While there's more to level design than the actual layout of a game, Metroidvanias became a good starting point to understand how to build cohesive and intricate environments to test the player's knowledge and understanding of the map. By teasing players with something just out of reach, it plants the seeds of, I should come back to this later, and then that seed grows into an aha moment when the player is granted with that power-up that allows them to backtrack and reach that previously teased area. With all that in mind, let's take a look at the upcoming Metroidvania game Ultros, and spoiler alert, where it falls short.
For there was once an empty potential about to be birthed into existence. But the potential was greeted by short-sightedness. Although nigh honestly covetous, nor completely barren.
As the first game developed by Haddock, which I think I'm pronouncing correctly, Ultros is a psychedelic Metroidvania where you wake up stranded on the sarcophagus, a cosmic uterus holding an ancient demonic being. The expression of no life without death is put on display as the world is filled with contrasting dynamics. The combat is juxtaposed with cultivating the greenery and tending to the plant life in the sarcophagus. A unique loop-based mechanic will allow you to start over at key moments of the story, providing you with opportunities to unfold secrets, unlock different areas, and gain new abilities on branching skill trees. With themes of mental health, life, death, and karmic cycles, each loop brings you closer to the truth. There's no doubt that the strongest aspect of Ultros is the art. With the art and soundtrack coming from Hotline Miami guru El Cuervo, the vast alien landscape is full of bright colors and exciting characters and enemies. The color play immediately reminded me of the Metroidvania masterpiece Guacamelee, but I will say that eventually with the clash of bright colors and the varying depths of assets, Ultros started to visually become a little too much to handle. The depth perception became an issue quickly, and I had difficulty understanding what was able to be interacted with and what wasn't. With the understanding that silhouette items were in the foreground led me to a weird instance where I had to use something that should have been in the foreground in order to advance. It's this lack of defined boundaries and depth and clear distinction between interactable and non-interactable that made Ultros more confusing than awe-inspiring. I mentioned that one key concept for a Metroidvania is the level design. However, the aha moment that I mentioned would become too difficult in a game like Ultros, as the various rooms look too similar to one another, which would make the backtracking difficult without having to constantly look at the map. This unfortunately bogs down the gameplay as it forces you to have to get used to what has to be the worst font I've ever seen in a game. I understand wanting to have a stylized font so a game kind of becomes more immersive, however, when you have to literally rewrite what you say the font is supposed to say, it makes me wonder why it even had to be in there in the first place other than a poor attempt to try to make it look cooler. If it was illegible because it's an alien language instead, then I think it would be more acceptable, but as you can see, it was intended on being the primary font, which makes the decision to use it confusing as the other fonts used in the game seem to be more legible and aesthetic. The combat in Ultros seemed relatively forgettable and lacked a sense of fluidity between strikes and dodges, and the unique way you purchase upgrades by eating various leftovers from the wildlife seemed interesting, but a bit random to me, and that honestly could just be the case that I just never really understood the mechanics of it. Ratings in this channel can be a bit difficult to come up with. I sometimes struggle with this as games always have a value to me, even if I didn't personally like it. I was pretty critical with Super Fantasy Kingdom, but gave it a decent score, and I feel like the best lens to use while judging these demos is how well the general populace would enjoy those games. Kepler Interactive is the publisher for Ultros, and with games like Scorn, the Cat Quest series, and Sifu, I had some really high hopes for a unique experience. What I was given was a vibrant world in which you can get lost in, but not really in the way the developers probably intended. I appreciate the tone that the game portrays, and I believe Ultros will find its niche audience that it seeks, as the lore and the art will give you plenty to envelop yourself with, but as for being a game intended for the average gamer, I feel like this game has too many shortcomings to make up for what it does right. Wonderbots is a YouTuber I admire, and they have a video that I will link below where they got access to more of the game than what was in the demo, where they gave their thoughts, and they had a bit of a more positive experience than I did. So check it out if you're still not sure. But that will be it for this video. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and as always, be kind to one another.
Blessed is she.
Thanks go to my Patreon supporters Relativity and Naughty Dog is King. If you have any ideas for games you want me to cover, then let me know with a comment and consider liking the video and subscribing if you want. Otherwise, I will see you soon.